The Pieces Lie Where They Fell by Evil Humor. Chapter 5. Vix-Lei. Vix-Lei was already on her hooves before the sun was even up, humming a wordless tune, throwing the blanket over the bed as she slid about in her rented room in this cute little hotel. It was her first time in Equestria and in the capital city, and she had to admit that Canterlot Upper was kinda what she was told she'd see. A bunch of stiff sillies, she snorted to herself, attaching the shoulder holster for Lady Kabonk, but deciding to leave Signor Hardhead behind, as she didn't expect to get into any trouble. Pausing in front of the mirror to fix her hair, she decided that she looked good. Still in her good mood, Vix-Lei danced her way out of her room and made her way downstairs with a bit of a hop from the landing, causing a few ponies and griffins to pull back in surprise. "Guess it's not every day you see some tour jump down, eh?" she chuckled to herself, with the crowd mumbling at her. Limbering up a bit more, rubbing her shoulder, she made her way to the spread of food that had no one really watching it. With a whistle and shifty eyes, Vix-Lei took a plate for herself and sat down at an isolated table to enjoy her breakfast in peace, taking a bench, as these chairs were not made for minotaurs. It was pretty okay, just nothing to write home about. And if she did, her mom would be wondering why she was writing home about this breakfast and not her other experiences. Twirling a fork in her hands and drumming it against the table, Vix-Lei began to think of what she would do today. She might as well hang around the honor festival, see if she could spot this Blady fellow and get it herself a gig tomorrow entertaining the people. If not, she could just hop back into the middle and see what she got there. If nothing still, well, she had the whole wide open world to travel. "Might hit up Cornmitzel Kingdom," she said, scratching her chin, tapping her hoof against the floor. "Those cats seem a bit more fun than these naysayers." Grinning at her own joke, she pushed herself from the table and carried her plate back to the buffet table and carefully slid it underneath the stack of plates. With that done, Vix-Lei made her way out of the hotel, accidentally lifting a griffin over her shoulder as she left the door, as it was a bit too early to do the dance of who goes first through the threshold. Shaking her head at the confused look on the griffin's face that little old her managed to toss him, she took a deep breath of fresh mountain air. Then she immediately barreled into someone, causing her and the other person to fall into a mess on the ground. Groaning and rubbing her head, Vix-Lei made sure not to shake her head, with her horns being sharp and pointy. "Ooh, that wasn't too smart," she muttered, looking to see the pony she'd knocked down. "You okay? Wow, you're a diamond dog." The diamond dog, with a really dark coat, brushed his pocketed jacket and glared up at her. "You're quite astute, madam, in describing species," he huffed, his long nose twitching, with his sharp ears flicking a bit. "I guess so," Vix-Lei said, scratching the back of her head and looking around at the crates in the middle of the street, with a lifter thingy rolling down the street before crashing into a building. "Do you need a hand with this?" "Only if you can lift one of those crates by yourself, madam. Otherwise—" He trailed off, no doubt amazed as she picked up both of them with ease. Well, I suppose I hate the charcoal there." He chuckled briefly, running down the hill to grab the blue lifter thingy. "Thank you. You can place them down on the hand truck if you do not mind." "Nah," Vix-Lei scoffed, shaking her head. "I'm good, Double D, so where do you need this stuff?" "Double D," he blinked, before muttering to himself. "Ah, I see. How very cute. My name is Rex, madam." "Ah, I'm Vix-Lei," she grinned, stepping beside old Rexy. "I'd give a paw and shake, but I've kinda got my own full at the moment." Sorry about that, guys. Rex simply looked at her again before shaking his head. "Charmed, Miss Lee," he grumbled, his short tail twitching behind him. "Nah, it's all one name, old boy," she chuckled as she hefted the crates a bit higher to get a better grip on them. "So what's in these boxes? Bones?" Narrowing his eyes, he shook his head and said, "Nothing as unimportant as bones, Vix-Lei. These are my associates and my merchandise, which are a touch on the fragile side of things, so please do your best not to jostle them around." "Ah, sorry." Vix-Lei blushed a bit. "So, what's in these boxes?" "Special merchandise, Vix-Lei, that is quite fragile." He stressed on the fragility of it, baring a bit of his fangs. He then let out a breath and looked at her. "They contain blank slates for our product that will act as the conduct for the reclaimed love identification spell between two individuals in question." "Okay." Vix-Lei blinked in confusion, tilting her head as Rex dug out an ID card to the guards at the entrance. "So how do you fit in on all this? I mean," she edged out her elbow at Max, "you're a diamond dog, not a unicorn. I mean, are you some kind of hired help?" "No, Miss Lee, I am not hired help." Rex narrowed his eyes. "As I have previously stated, I am a third-party member to my associate's business, and I am actually the main provider of the formula for the spell." "Oh, wow. I didn't know that diamond dogs knew how to use magic." Vix-Lei blinked, marveling at this cool new fact. "Diamond dogs do not have access to the arcane, Miss Lee, so I need to use other means to achieve my craft." Rex barked at her as he pushed the cart thingy a bit harder, with the handles making odd noises in his paws. "Here we are." He paused in front of a stand that said, "Forever find true love." "If you would be so kind as to place the merchandise down, everything will be fine as diamonds." "'Kay." Vix-Lei walked ahead to place the crates down, and let Rex scurry ahead and start unpacking the cute little necklaces, taking out a display stand to put necklaces on it. She stood for a moment, rocking on her hooves. "So, you're on the approved list of stuff, right?" "We will be once Lord Blade gives us his stamp of approval. Why do you ask?" Rex turned to her, with the sound of rattling bottles coming from his vest back. "Well, I know that the honor festival for the pony's dead heroes and gods is tomorrow, and if you can get your hoof in the door, you'll be able to do all sorts of stuff, and you wish for me to place my name and my associate on the edge for some tar that has a very questionable sense of comedy with a respected noble house." Rex snorted at her, shaking his head ruefully. "I may be a diamond dog, but that does not mean I am an imbecile." He then pushed himself close to her face, resting his massive paws on the crate. "Now, if you are quite done with your racist commentary, I would appreciate it if you would leave me be so I can finish my preparations." "All right, geez, you just had to say no." Vix-Lei held up her hands, annoyed at how touchy this dog was. "Boy," she muttered to herself as she walked away, rolling her eyes. With nothing to do, and being in the festival grounds, Vix-Lei decided to put that dull doggy out of her mind and enjoy herself. It had been quite some time since she'd left the stand behind, wandering from place to place and seeing what they had to offer, while doing her best not to be caught as a gatecrasher. She had to say, these ponies were being just as dull as the minotaurs back home. No one could really take a joke all that well, and they were all too touchy and serious, and they found her attempts to make the day better annoying for some reason. Still, she couldn't just give up, and she spotted some griffin that could use some cheering up. "Whoa there, birdie buddy," she chuckled, walking in front of the cranky-looking griffin. "Where's the fire, and do you need an alibi?" she asked, lightly tapping him on the shoulder. The Griffin just shook his head. "Get out of my way." "Oh, come on there, pretty birdie. Tell old Vix-Lei what's wrong," she whined, dancing on her hooves and feeling the need to bring out Lady Kabonk. "I don't see how it's any of your business," he grumbled harshly at her, flicking his beaky beak at her. "Well, it ain't, but it bums me to see someone so glum, chum," she admitted, using her skills to lightly tap him on the head. "What's got your feathers so twisted up?" Pushing away Lady Kabonk, the Griffin stared hard at her. "I just got fired for some reasons after I saved his mare's life. So if you don't mind, I'm going back to my hotel room to get drunk and pretend this day never happened. All right?" All right, I get it. Jeez," Vix-Lei snapped back, putting away Lady Kabonk. "Try and help a person out, and that's what you get. Bleh." Storming away from the Griffin, she was so done with Equestria. All these annoying jerks couldn't take even a simple joke, and she didn't need them. Tomorrow she would leave the hotel and go off to find something a bit more interesting and fun than this dull place, for good. So here we are at the end of Chapter 5. We meet Chapter 6 person, the alchemist dog. I'm wondering if in Chapter 6 we'll meet Vittel again, or what's going to be it. Because we can't meet the 7th character. Well, I suppose we could, but I get an idea there's going to be 6 for the 6 elements, 6 main characters. I don't know, but it seems a reasonable guess given this is a My Little Pony thing. So, well, I guess I don't really have any commentary for this one. Looking forward to see what happens in Chapter 6. Bye, everyone.